You know the 92.7 The Block Studios are lit.
92.7 The Block, ladies and gentlemen. I got a special guest, very beautiful, lovely, can't forget, intelligent, Miss Keke Palmer. What's up, baby girl?
Hey, Mom, what's poppin'?
I can't call it. Just want to say, as always, I'm proud of you.
Oh, man,
you know,
thank you.
and I say as always because in the back of my head I tell you it, but I can't tell you it face to face because I never see you because you're so busy working.
Man, well, it means a lot to me to hear this from you. And
Yes.
happy birthday.
Yes. Oh. We'll talk later. With Harvey Weinstein. Don't worry about us. We're
Oh,
fine
my
over
God.
here. Anyway, what is going on?
Everything. You know, I've been working on the album. Just dropped my single, Bossy. Very excited about that. Got my new label, Big Bosses Entertainment. And then aside from that, you know, always, you know, doing other things, acting. Did my TV show, Berlin Station, getting ready to do a second season of that.
Congratulations.
I play a spy. Thank you. I play a spy. You know, it's very interesting, very different than what I've done before. So I enjoy that show. It shoots in Berlin, for real. And then I also just did MTV Scream, which is the horror show.
The horror,
movie,
yeah.
They're doing it as a TV show now. Queen Latifah actually is one of the producers of this one, which was really, really dope. I know Queen forever. And then that's pretty much the main stuff. I have a film that's getting ready to go to Tribeca, an indie film I did titled Pimp, that I'm also excited about. So.
Now, I have to ask you, you play so many different roles, from when you was a child to teenage years, now to your adult years. What has been one of your most memorable characters to ever play and why? And don't tell me just because of the success of one.
Yeah.
One that you just genuinely loved.
Brotherly Love.
Why is that?
Because it was so good. Like, I just really loved the script so much, mainly because I felt like for so long I wanted to be a part of something that was very like generational, that felt very topical or very specific. And I felt like that was very specific to you know, kids growing up in Philly and what they might have been going through in an inner city community. And it just was right on target, but it was also very sophisticated in terms of the writing. I thought the writing was beautiful. I thought it was also very reminiscent to Shakespeare, but it was put in a totally different setting and flipped on its head. And I appreciate that kind of stuff. It's very cinematic and theatrical, and the talent involved in the film was awesome. We all had a lot of fun shooting in Philly. I really enjoyed Philly.
I love the fact that it gave a generation a different viewpoint of a lot of people that didn't understand, especially if you lived in an urban community, you grew up in an urban community. It fit all modes on all cylinders. I just felt as though y'all didn't get that real push. Like it was like Hollywood didn't embrace it because I felt as though they didn't understand it. The fact that she was telling the ghetto story, the fact that she was telling the raw, uncut truth, what's going on in society.
Which should have been put out to the forefront because so many different people relate. Like, not everybody, even if we're talking about people that didn't grow up in the inner city communities, they want to know what it's like too.
Definitely.
So when people don't give those kind of movies the same kind of mainstream push, to me, I think it's a disservice, not just to people from the community, but to people that want to know and learn about other things than what they just see.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
It's such a disservice. But what I will say is because of the generation we're in now, that movie was like #1 on Netflix for like
Definitely.
months.
And you want me to tell you what's going to be the best part about it is that you got to look back 10, 15 years from now and you got to be like, wow, this helped influence and gave a voice and gave a light to the culture. You know what I mean? So
and that's why that movie
like,
is so
it's not about DVD sales. You know, life is different.
Even with Akilah to be, you know, if, with a lack of better words, bombed in theaters. But where it really gained its full steam was within the culture. It affected people. People actually watched.
You saw the feeling and you got the feeling from it.
Yes, and so that's the kind of work that I do. You know what I mean? Like, to me, it's never been about making billions and billions of dollars.
Yeah.
It's always been about, first of all, doing what I love and doing stuff that means
Enjoying
something to me. Enjoying it, right? And making sure I'm giving people something that affects them in a real, genuine way.
And where do you get that from a personal standpoint? I know you have a lot of influences in the industry. It's like, of course, the Queen, of course, all these other predominant figures, but personally, where do you get that wisdom from, that the fact you want to help others, the fact you want to teach others?
Man, my parents. That's really how my parents is. You know, I grew up in the church. My father's a deacon. You know, and my dad, he always was the type of person to like go feed the homeless and go talk to men in jail, and just not in a way of like I'm thinking of giving back, but just this is what he liked to give his time to. My parents love to be of service.
You have to though.
Man, and they really instilled that in me at a very young age when I started doing entertainment. Not just to help me remain humble, which was definitely a main part of it, but also to show young girls and young boys like me from where I'm from, look at this little girl and see that you can do exactly what she's doing.
And be that voice, because let's look at Hollywood right now. How many young black actresses do we have? How many you know, we just seen what the success of having a black superhero comic out now with Black Panther.
Absolutely.
Have you had a chance to see it yet?
I did, and what I really loved about that project was also they really finally said what I feel like so many times people don't say, which is that we're a human race. You know what I'm saying? If we're going back to times, everybody came from Africa. But being black doesn't mean you're all from the same culture. And I loved how they split that on its head. It's like, I'm Wakandan, you're American. We're the same skin, but our culture and our struggle is different. And people have to start understanding, man,
it shed so many things got touched on, hit upon on. Now, what motivates you now seeing stuff like that?
It just motivates me more to keep telling that story because it has to be the young people. Like Ryan Coogler is young. He's of a new generation where we were able to become more aware and knowledgeable about where we come from. For so long, black people in America were told that they didn't belong here and they're not from here, but we are. We were here before anyone.
Everyone else.
You know what I'm saying? Because that's just the way that the world works as human beings. We're all different shades, but black, in order to have any other color, you have to have black. So I mean, it's just different shades but different cultures. So for so long, I felt like people didn't realize that, and so when I seen a film like that, they're continuing to encourage the words saying, yo, we can step outside of this mind frame of you belong here, you belong there. At the end of the day, we all family, but we from different cultures.
And that's all it is. It's integrating cultures, and once it's integrated, that's why I feel as though racism's thrown in people's faces, but racism is taught. It's not something that's embodied in our bodies. Now, another topic that I have, the one that everybody's talking about, our Queen Monique. What is going on?
Yeah.
What are your thoughts?
You know, me, I'm the kind of person that's like, I keep my stuff private. You know, I feel like it's, you know, and I think it's so hard in the type of industry that we have, especially in social media, because some things you do have to confront, or they're forced to confront you because people are nosy as hell. But I think in terms of like contracts and deals and stuff like that, you know, sometimes you'll get a deal that you don't like. I deny it. You deny it and you move on. You know, or
you don't blast it out like she's been doing, because I'm just like, now you're rupturing a chance for you to get a different deal from someone else. Like, people are looking at this and being like, I don't want to be in that situation.
You know, people have to handle things the way that they see fit. At the end of the day, people have to do things the way they feel is best for them. But I do feel like in terms of the industry, we all come up against things. You come up against things yourself that you don't feel is right or that you don't think is cool, and you have to handle. I choose to handle them privately and really work from kind of like inside proactive type of way. And I don't always share everything with the public because sometimes the public doesn't understand. Everything
is not meant for the public eye because they don't understand the business.
You told me the business of your all the little idiosyncrasies of what it is to do radio. It probably go over my head.
I love that word, by the way.
Idiosyncrasies. My mom used that a lot.
You touched me. You touched me.
You know what I mean? If you actually told me that, I would listen and I would try to understand and I would give
my best advice. It would be like,
but it would be a total different language for me, and I would not be the best person to give you advice.
Exactly.
So when you're
telling the masses, they don't understand, and all they thinking is like, what? Okay, I have to choose a side now.
Right.
And then what I'm not liking is, listen, that is your own individual deal. Granted, you've done all these lists of accomplishments. You are by far one of the most decorated people. But guess what? Our generation and our society that's supporting this online era, this whole thing is majority millennials. Let's face it. And we are an instant gratification generation in society. And it's what have you done lately? And it's unfortunate, but what I would love to see her do.
Use our attention, or see our attention, and don't often know where it's come from. Sometimes we look at stuff and we give things attention, and it's a joke to us. Sometimes we look at stuff, we give it attention, and we rooting for it. Sometimes we give stuff attention, and you know what I mean. Like we have a different reasons, and I feel like it's just you have to be careful when you do things like that in the industry, or not in the industry, excuse me, on social media.
And you don't want to burn those bridges. And one thing that I think she should have took a page out of your book was doing, signing yourself, ladies and gentlemen, because this lady right here got some fire right now.
Thank you so much.
Got some fire. For the people who don't know, explain how you came up with it.
Yeah.
What was you doing? Where, like, put me there.
Well, definitely.
I'm gonna close my eyes, by the way.
Definitely too. You're so dramatic. I live for it. Definitely to your point of what you're saying. Like, I think everybody has their own issues with the industry that they work in, whether you're a doctor, a lawyer, a radio host, or a singer, or a dancer, entertainer. So for me, I had a lot of problems when it came to the music industry and how it worked, and I felt like there was not a lot of artist development. I felt like a lot of the artists that, you know, could have definitely been whatever you want to call something, or could have gotten their moment, they were slept on because they weren't doing this, or they didn't do that, or they didn't look this way, or they weren't getting this kind of support. And so for me, I felt like I definitely fell victim to kind of being someone that was popular and just kind of exploited in terms of music, but not really helped or encouraged.
Definitely, you was just like, oh yeah, put this song together, and it's her name. Her name holds weight. Versus, let me develop the talent.
And tell her story. Don't nobody care about, okay, if I'm Keke Palmer and I'm giving you a song, but you know me as Akila, or you know me as True Jackson, and I'm singing a song that tells you nothing about who I am personally, how can you relate to me? How can you connect to me? You know what I'm saying? You can't, because you don't know who I am. You just know characters that I played. And so that really was something that was difficult for me. And so I said, you know what? I'm not going to keep asking people to see me the way I want to be seen. I have a fan base. I have social media here. I can give my music and my creativity to my audience without needing someone to filter through it for me and tell me if it's okay or not. And then I said, you know what? Not only do I want to do that for myself, but hell, I feel like I can help other young artists as well.
And give that opportunity to open up the door like you've been have for the young African American and minority females out here. You know, you opened up that door and you're pushing the limits at this point. It's just like, how far can she go? And unlike most people who want to see people fail, I want to continue to see you win. I want to see you continue to slam all these haters. And ladies and gentlemen, by the way,
I can see that about you too. You're very positive.
You got to. You want me to tell you why, ladies and gentlemen? I asked her earlier, was she single? She said, yeah. Whole lot of game. This is 92.7 The Block, you little bitty thotty birds. And I'm with Keke. Bye.
You know the 92.7 The Block Studios are lit.